Now, may I invite Tabrez Ahmed, Group Director, Government Affairs and Public Policy, Dell Technologies, India. Mr. Tabrez Ahmed.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Chairman, for the session. And good to be with all the panelists and participants. Thanks, Akram, for inviting me. A lot is said, so not to repeat and try to find some other areas where I can dwell upon. So clearly, it looks like, technology is going to disrupt education. And when I say disrupt, I want to highlight, and this is said by one of the my professor at Harvard, when Professor Christensen, and he was saying institution like Harvard is also getting disrupted because the whole concept of campus is getting disrupted. But when we say disruption, we need to be cautious a bit. The fundamental of education is a willing child to learn and a teacher to teach. That's education, okay? Medium could be anything. It could be under a tree. It could be with a lot of technology, okay? Only technology, a lot of technology will not help. Rather than we will have what we are struggling today with kids is too much screen time and too much technology distracting children. Okay, so we need to be very cautious how we want to talk about. Having said that, let's look at what task we have in India. We have around 600 million young people to give education, and that's skilling also put together. Only a student who are in a school or something like that, that number is around 265 million. I'm talking about something like 6 years to 18 years or something like that. Huge number is out of a school, something like 35, 40 million. So that's the task in front of the nation. And if we look at how we can take advantage of technology after understanding first technology very well, what should be done through technology, it's a technology which will help us to achieve this task because it will supplement, okay? So that's the task we have in mind. Now, having said that, we need to see how we can do it, okay? So one is, of course, understanding technology and how to reach out to students and provide them technology which will help them get educated at in more democratic way. At the same time, taking advantage of technologies. For example, one of the notion I find is many people think any device can impart education. Maybe not right, okay? For example, when it comes to content creation, okay, then the kind of device which is needed is different from when you just want to consume content, okay? So consumption of technology can be done through mobile, for example, a small screen, less computing power. Content creation, which is maybe coding, for example, requires a different kind of device, okay? So what kind of device is required? And not only device is important, okay? So there are other things also. For example, networking is important. For example, software is important. For example, security is important. Some of the speakers talked about it. Ethics is important, okay? So understanding all these and then deploying technology in education will help us achieve the task I just talked about in millions. It's a big country. We have to give education and bring people who are on job and into lifelong learning, which is the need of our today, which is in hundreds of millions, okay? So this is one technology piece, okay, which has multiple facets, okay? But by just giving technology, I find it's not going to help. And I find many times, many state governments, because it's a concurrent subject, so many times I've seen a state government and federal government also sometimes missing a finer point, and that is by just giving laptop, for example, will not help. Okay, and that's why I'm coming to the second solution, or the way we should go for is there should be some kind of collaboration, and that collaboration should be with different stakeholders here. For example, Zoom, for example, is playing great role as we are doing right now. It could be a startup community, for example, and in India, I find there are around 5,000 plus good startups, Baiju kind, who are into bringing innovation into how to solve the problem, okay? Bringing them in. So these are some of the state governments, central government, a lot of players need to be, teachers, academic institution, all need to come and collaborate, okay? The third point I find is it has to give solution, okay? And solution will come when all these stakeholders get into some kind of platforms, okay? And we see today more and more technology and things are coming into and becoming a platform. For example, e-commerce. E-commerce is a platform. It solves a problem. It brings buyer, seller, payment gateway, everything together and creates a solution. So that's very important. And in Dell, for example, Dell is, just to talk about the platform part, Dell is having 7 companies today. There is a hardware company, which everybody knows. There is a world's largest data company, which is EMC. There is a software company, Pivotal. There is a security company, and there is disruptive kind of thing, which is called VMware, and like that. So what we are trying to do is in education also, trying to create a kind of platform, create a platform and solve the problem. So unless until we solve the problem, it's not going to help. The fourth thing,
if you can just wind up also.
Sure. The fourth thing I find is that a lot of, because there is online education, continuous education, there has to be some kind of certification and standardization, which will bring solution to it. And at the another aspect I find is very important. There is a socio-emotional piece of learning here, where teachers need to play a very important role to understand the student's psyche. And if we look at one more piece of articulation, if you look at national education policy, I think there are fantastically good elements emphasizing on, for example, on technology and coding, all those things putting together. So that's what I have in mind, how we can solve this problem. So thanks a lot. If there's any question at the end, happy to answer that. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you, Mr. Tabrez Ahmed. Very, very, important questions, issues you have flagged, including about screen time, about the need for democratizing, that freebies of just distributing laptops alone won't do. There is a need for, I think the key mantra that you spoke about is about collaboration. And I think that is the need of the hour. Thank you so much.